Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Nobody's gotta worry about nothing. Don't go hitting that panic button. It ain't worth spilling your drink. Everything's gonna be alright. Alright. Alright.
So I nodded my head and said that's for sure. Dropped a few butts in the mason jar. Felt those good old neon vibes on me. And whatever monkey that was on my back, he jumped off just like that, right into the deep blue sea. And I looked back over her shoulder, thinking about the sun hanging up on the wall that said everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Nobody's gotta worry about nothing. Don't go hitting that panic button. It ain't near as bad as you think. Everything's gonna be alright. Alright. Alright.
There ain't no doubt it's gonna work out. Come on, sing it with me.
There ain't no doubt it's gonna work out. Come on and sing it with me.
Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Nobody's gotta worry about nothing. Don't go hitting that panic button. It ain't near as bad as you think. Everything's gonna be alright.
Frankie?
Alright. Alright.
Everything.
All right. They're all ready for takeoff.
Hey, Frankie, you good?
Yep, we should be all good to go.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. Hey, afternoon, everybody. Just want to say hello and thank you for being on. We've got a lot of people on the call from several different brands. We've got a lot of people on the call inside of Exit Realty, some in Alabama and Mississippi and some in other states. So thank you for being on the call. And you may ask, why did we put this call together? Times are different right now. And so it takes, you gotta extend different measures. You got to do different things at the core heart of what Kathy, Frankie, and I try to do day in and day out is really pour into people knowledge, information, inspiration, so it'll help you elevate you personally and professionally. That's our mantra. That's kind of what we do behind the scenes. That's what we live by. That's what we believe in. So we thought, based on how things were escalating and elevating, we would just come on and talk about how you could ignite your business amidst all the things that we're having to deal with right now. So we want to do that. This call is not about anything other than taking real estate professionals in the real estate industry, no matter what state you're in, no matter what brand you're in, and let's working together to help each other. We're going to talk about a lot of ideas, a lot of techniques on this call. Please be ready to take notes. We will have a slide deck, but you'll want to jot down some additional notes as you go throughout the call. So we got a lot more people joining us. Frankie, why don't you turn to that first slide. In the spirit of time, I'm going to just go ahead and go because I know we got you know, a lot more people signing on here. If you kind of look at where we're at, okay, if you kind of look at where we're at, we don't want anybody to have their head in the sand, okay? It's easy to do that. You can absolutely get polarized with what is going on. You can get polarized with the amount of information and communication. You can get polarized, and it can be daunting what we're having to go through. But guys, we've been through other things earlier in your life, really, no matter who you are. You know, if you think back to Y2K, we thought the world was coming to an end when Y2K, we were switching over from 1999 to 2000. All the computers are going to shut down, et cetera, et cetera. We've had different diseases throughout the years. We've had natural disasters such as tornadoes, and you know, everybody remembers Katrina that was up and down the coast of Alabama, Mississippi. If you are not close to that coast, you know what happened with that. You know, the Midwest, if you're in the Midwest, you've heard of natural disasters as it relates to tornadoes and floods. And everybody got through that. This too shall pass, and we will get through this circumstance, but we have to do things differently. The thing we don't want to do, thing we absolutely don't want to do as human beings, is put our head in the sand or continue to do what we've always done, because that's not going to carry us into what's going on this week. And perhaps next week we'll have to update, and we'll have to, you know, cover some different information based upon what's occurring. Maybe you're in a state where something that we cover is not readily applicable, and we understand that. But hey, we want to do something instead of doing nothing, and we don't want to put our head in the sand. We want to take our head up. We want to look around and look at what the opportunities are, what the possibilities are to continue carrying the torch and the banner in real estate. Okay, so we're going to cover some practical things right here, right now. I think one thing, go ahead, Frankie. I think one thing that we will have to look at is all adopting a concept. This is a biblical concept, and you know, if you're not spiritual, you know, I apologize, but maybe you've heard of this before. Walk by faith, not by fear. You know, that's important. You know, faith is you know, it's tough. It's odorless. It's colorless. You know, it's sometimes you can't see it, you can't feel it, but you got to know that you know that you know that you know that you're going to walk by faith, and you're going to be able to get through this situation with some techniques and some skills and some abilities that are already embedded within you. Perhaps it needs to come out of you during this time, but please don't be fearful. Take precautions, yes. Do the things the CDC talks to you about doing. Based upon where you're at in your state, you know, you may be in an isolated, you know, type situation where you can't go out. You may be subject to curfews right now. You know, in your state and you know in your town what your circumstances are. We're going to cover information that you're going to be able to,
how? Damn it.
you're not going to be able to maybe take all of it, but you're going to be able to take most of it, okay? So please adopt and embrace in your heart, walking by faith, not by fear. Trust and believe in yourself wholly, fully, and unconditionally, okay? That's very important. And I want to kind of pause and say, there's things in you that you're going to be able to do through this that you never dreamed that you could. But you got to trust and believe that you can. Don't ever adopt a philosophy that you can't. We're going to talk about some things, and you may, in the back of your mind, you may say, "Oh, well, Troy, I'm just not good at video. You know, I've never done video." Hey, you're going to have to throw caution to the wind, and you're going to have to go out in this day and time and perhaps produce some videos and work together with some people in order to do that, to keep your real estate business going. That's just one component. Hey, Frankie, that first bullet point fell off, so go to the next one. Focus clearly on how you can versus why you can't, okay? let's explore all the reasons why we can and versus why we can't. There's a lot of us that could say, we can't do this because of the circumstances at hand. We can't do this because we're restricted by the state or the federal government or whatever. Please embrace I can do it. I'm going to overcome it. It's just an obstacle. Whatever the obstacle is, whatever your restrictions are, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to go around it, but I'm going to get on the other side of it, and I'm going to be better because of it. And I'm going to cause people to be better because I got better. So please embrace that. Go ahead, Frankie. Embrace change. Okay. You've embraced change all your life. We've got different age groups on here, so I'm going to throw out some old stuff, some new stuff. Okay. So y'all have changed music and how you listen to music probably 5 or 6 times throughout your years. Okay. If you used to listen to records, you changed to 8-track. You went from 8-track, you went to cassette. You went to cassette, you went to CDs. You went to CDs. Now what are we doing? We're streaming music all over the place live. You embrace change. Microwaves, for Christ's sake, used to be big as a wheelbarrow, when they came out, and then they shrunk down. Cell phones, when you had your first, when the first cell phones came out, they were big as this piece of paper. They were the bag phones, and now we've got slimline phones that can run an entire company. There's been changes in your life that you've embraced. There are some changes we'll go through in this that we're going to need to embrace, and we'll all get through it. I promise you. Think outside the box as you're doing that, though. As you look at doing business differently, kind of adopting a philosophy of doing business unusual. It's not business as usual. It's business unusual. And so adopt that mindset. Go ahead, Frankie, with the next one. Adopt that mindset because it's not business as usual. We've got to adapt and adopt to a business unusual mindset. As you look at how you go forward, what is your purpose? What is it that you want to accomplish? You had a purpose when you started this year. Hopefully everybody did their business plans in your company. And you would have defined your purpose and your goals for the year. I'll share our purpose with you. What Kathy and I and Frankie believe. We believe we change lives and create opportunity. And that's something we came up with in late October, actually. We believe we change lives and create opportunity. And I thought about that as we're going through this. Aren't we still doing the same thing? We're changing. Our job is to change lives for clients, change lives for realtors, change lives for real estate brokers and owners and managers, change lives in the communities in which we serve and live in, and create opportunity for who? All of the above. The client, the agent, the real estate office owner, the broker, the communities that we serve. We create opportunity for all of them. And that's just something that's near and dear to our heart. What is your purpose? Your purpose is going to be what carries you through this circumstance, these situations. So, think about that. And if you don't have one, if it's not defined, it's right here on the top of your heart. Don't overthink it with your head, because that'll get in the way. But it's right on the tip, right on the edge, and you would need to commit that to writing as we go forward. Okay. So Frankie, we're going to talk about how to be productive, and this is where we're going to start slipping into the meat and potatoes of perhaps some things that you haven't thought about, or it solidifies some things that you've already thought about but hadn't put action in. Take that number one, Frankie. I think wherever you're at right now, most people are getting into either a full-fledged quarantine type situation, or you're in similar circumstances where you can slip out and you can go certain places, but you're limited, restricted, or you're bound to your home. Let me talk to two groups here. I mean, if you've got younger kids, let's talk about the families on the call that's got younger kids. I believe it's okay to gather the family up and have a conversation, and just explain where we are and why we are where we are, so everybody understands. I think it's perfectly okay as you look at those parents that are on the call that have kids at home, to set some new boundaries. I mean, if they went to school, they have to abide by certain boundaries, right? No different than them taking school at home now. But now you are the principal, and you are the PE teacher, and you're the lunchroom, and you are, I could go on, the counselor. Yeah. I hope we don't, I hope none of you principals get fired in the next week. But anyway, think about that. If you haven't had an opportunity or thought about it, sit down and just kind of gather around and set some boundaries. Boundaries could be, where is that school space going to be located in the home versus where is your professional workspace going to be in the home? When it's time to go to school for the kids, if you have kids on the call, what hour do you start? When is lunch? When is break? When do you stop? You got to set those boundaries. What other boundaries might you set? If you are in your professional workspace, which we'll get to here in a minute, promise you, what boundaries are you going to set so you can do the things we're going to talk about on the call? So you can have, the kids can respect your professional workspace, wherever that is. You can respect the kids' professional school room or temporary classroom that's set up. Say you don't have kids, I think you know what to do. If suddenly you've got older kids, they're suddenly into your home, or you're married and both of you are working out of the home, where are your separate professional workspaces set up and established at? And might I add, whether you're talking about school or you're talking about something else, distraction-free workspaces and temporary classrooms, okay? Go ahead, Frankie. Commit to a routine. You're going to have a routine. Anybody that's in your home is going to have a routine to continue on with your business. And I want to talk about several elements of a routine. This is very important. If you don't get this right, you probably aren't going to be able to do everything else we talk about on the call. And this is just helping you. This is suggestions that absolutely bona fide 100% will work. Kathy and I practice it. Frankie practices it. We're not sharing anything with you that we haven't already tested, tried, and true. But I want to appeal to you to do several things. What time do you get up in the morning? What time does that alarm clock go off? Okay. Why is that important? That's the very first thing that starts your day. I would appeal to you, the later that is, the less ineffective you are. So what is that go time for you to get up and conduct your personal routine? I'm just going to use myself for an example. I get up 5:30 every single morning. My feet are on the floor. Now, sometimes I'm going to admit and confess to you, my head sometimes tries to talk to my heart and say, Troy, just lay here for another 30 minutes. And I'm telling you, the times that I just swing my feet around and hit the floor, then I'm good. Okay. So that's just my go time. Your go time could be a little later, or some of you, it could be a little sooner. And I'm going to zip through just some things that, that I do. But I think it's important to have, what is your personal routine? When does it start? When does it end? My feet hit the floor, I go immediately and I turn the coffee pot on and I get that first cup of coffee going. While I'm doing that, I zip over into the bathroom area and I get all my vitamins, all my minerals, everything, ready to go for the day that I take personally. Then I take that cup of coffee and I do the following. I do affirmations to inject my brain with positive thoughts and energies. I do a Bible study. I read a scripture, and then I'm right now doing an audio book. You could read a book, whether you read or do an audio book, and I'm done with that no later than 6:30, 6:45. Then I'm out the door. and I walk or run 3 miles. I'm back 7:45, give or take 5 minutes. I shower up, get ready to go at 8:30 to 8:45. I go into business mode, no later. And that's just my personal routine. What is it for you? What is meaningful for you? I would tell you that walk that I take or that run that I take, breathing in that fresh air here lately has been very different than say 3 or 4 weeks ago. So what does your personal routine look like? When does it start? When does it end? Write it down. Commit to something and be consistent. I think it will really, 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 really help you in the beginning of your day. Once you start that business day, what time is that? You have to establish what's go time for the business day, what's go time for the school day. That's very important if you got kids. What time is that for you? What does that consist of? I'm going to tell you that everybody has to have a plan, and our plans are very different this day and time, right? But create a block schedule for yourself as to what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it throughout the day. It just helps you stay on task. It keeps you structured, okay? Write down those tasks and write them down in such a way that it is on a piece of paper, half a sheet of paper, don't let it be long, or an index card, half a sheet of paper or index card, and then that way you can keep it visible. One of the books I'm reading right now talks about Dale Carnegie, talks about Thomas Edison, talks about Henry Ford, talks about some of these amazing people that have been crazy influential in our lives. And what I'm talking to you about, they did the very same thing. They defined a personal routine, a start and stop time, defined a professional start to their work day, put a specific block schedule in place with written tasks that they wanted to accomplish on a day in and day out basis. And then the only other thing they did is surrounded themselves with people better than them. So write that down. It might look at, I start at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to tell you, everybody in real estate on this call knows what I'm about to say. Prospecting is the number one thing any real estate coach in our industry will tell you that you need to commit to. And we'll talk about, Kathy's going to talk about prospecting here a little later. So this is powerful right here. If after the call, any private consultation you need, we're here for you, whoever you are listening on this call. I'm probably the one that could better help you with that, committing to a routine and helping you define it. If you need help with that, Frankie and Kathy can help you with other things if you need it. Go ahead, Frankie. Define a professional workspace. Look at your home, find out what the location is going to be, and find out what you're going to put in that specific temporary location for you to define a professional workspace. I will tell you, it is probably not on the couch. It's very important to get somewhere sitting upright, sitting before a desk, with good posture, with good focus, with that workspace being big enough to house everything you need with your equipment, your computers, your paperwork, etc., whatever that looks like. But define that in your home. We talked about earlier, where's the classroom going to be? Where's the professional workspace going to be? Define that. If there's two of you, husband and wife or significant other, where is the different workspaces going to be? Okay, go ahead. Eliminate distractions. That's going to be extremely important. You can't be thumbing through Facebook and trying to work on things that you committed to yourself that you put on your task list, your written task list, and your block schedule. You can't have Netflix blaring. You just can't have those distractions. So identify what are they, and when you're supposed to be doing what you committed to yourself you're going to do, and when you're going to do it. Just filter all that stuff out, guys. Filter it out. If you got kids or a spouse in the family or a significant other, determine how they go about getting your attention. And I know it's going to sound corny, but maybe the kids You know, it's a raise of the hand or it's a ring of a bell, something like that. Maybe for a spouse, it's, you set a break time at, whatever that time is you agree upon, and you don't interrupt each other. Kathy and I are good like that. I'll just say, honey, excuse me. And then, so wait a minute, let me finish this and I'll get with you. That's just how we do it, just as an example. Go ahead, Frank. Keep current clients updated. Some of you are dealing with buyers and sellers right now, and we're going to talk a lot about communication today. It is very important to maintain contact with them once or twice a week. Make sure they know everything you are doing to help them in whatever need they've got. It could be an investor. Some of you got investors as well. But that communication on what you're doing and how you're doing it and using things on this call, I think they'll be impressed that you're carrying the torch through this period of time for them to help them get into or out of a home or into an investment property or whatever the case may be as you represent your clients. Work with purpose, work with absolute conviction and purpose in mind that you're there to help people. You're there to carry them through one of the most difficult times in their life. And sometimes you've got to be that counselor and that leader as a real estate agent and or an owner with your agents where, you really have to be that level-headed person that keeps on driving home what your purpose is, what your goals are. Go ahead, Frankie. This next one is critical. Absolutely critical. And me and Kathy practice it. There's not a day goes by that we don't get up, engage in a personal routine, hit our business schedule, and are not dressed like a professional. Okay. That changes your posture. That changes your mindset. That changes you. I'm telling you, your pajama bottoms, I know some of you are laughing right now. I'm going to tell you, your productivity with your pajama bottoms is never as good as when you get up, feel good about yourself, do your personal routine, get behind you, get dressed, get your hair did, get your teeth brushed, get clean, get ready. And those of you that are on the call, no matter what brand you're from, be branded. You see this right here. You rarely see me without that on. In most, I'd say 90% of the videos, and then when I'm around town, I've got my brand on. Okay. It's going to be important based upon what we're going to talk about here downstream on this call. But for this portion of the call, I think it has everything to do with you getting in the right mindset after you've established those personal routines, going into the business, professional routines, and then writing down those specific task functions that we talked to you about earlier. Okay, very, very important. Hey, Frank.
Perfect. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Thumbs up. We're good. Perfect. So we're going to talk about organization a little bit. Now's the perfect time to think about organizing your business, organizing your life. The first place to start off is organize your home office. Definitely make sure that your desk is free of clutter. If you saw me post on social media, that desk was a messy desk for me that I posted yesterday. It's cleaned off and clear now. So definitely do that, because when you're working in a messy space, you're not as productive as you usually would be if you've got stacks of paper. If you're having to sit on your desk like this to access your computer, there's a problem. You should probably clear off the paper. The next thing to think about organizing is your calendar. When was the last time you actually went in and updated your calendar? Are all your appointments on there? Are appointments that you needed to cancel or reschedule for this week, have you gone in and changed them to the new date time? Have events changed that you need to go through and actually move that event to the new date? Go through and update all these things on your business calendar. Now is the perfect time to be doing it. Transaction files, coming from the office administrator side, I cannot stress this enough. Make sure that your transaction files, past, closed, things that are currently under contract, listings that you have, they're all compliant with your state regulations. They're all up to date. Everything is in there. Everything is all good to go. You've got a little bit of downtime right now. That would be one of my number one things to start with. If you've got transaction files, go through and organize them. Make sure they're all within the same organization order. Everything's in there that you would need. It's also a time that you can actually go back, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, where you can actually go back and take all of your old client data and move it into CRM database. So you can go back through all those transaction files. If you've got kids, you can have them do the data entry for you, so you don't have to do it. College students, they work for food. It is the best thing ever. Email inbox, and you can be honest, raise your hand if you have over 200 unread emails in your inbox. That's majority of agents. When was the last time you gone in and cleaned it out? I'm guilty of it. I'll raise my hand with you guys on that, but now's the time to go through and organize it. Go down to if you've got, say, I've logged into an agent's inbox before and they had 104,000 unread emails because they're using it for business and personal. Go through and open them, delete them, get rid of them. Now's the time to. If you need to organize them into folders, go through and organize them into folders. You've got the opportunity to do this. Computer documents. If you could see my desktop right now, it is covered with different things. Literally go through and organize your computer, because let me tell you, when you start removing things from your computer, things start to speed up. So if you get on things and they run super duper slow, now's the time to do a tune up on that. Clear off old data, move it to an external hard drive, put it on a flash drive, upload it to Dropbox, whatever you need to do, go through, clean it, make it organized. It's all about the organization. CRM database. If you currently run a CRM, when was the last time you've gone through and labeled your leads, edited leads, updated contact information, took your past clients and uploaded them in there? Or clients you're currently working with, when was the last time you actually went in and put them into the right categories, made sure that their drip campaigns were all good to go? Probably not as often as you should have. So go through and do that. The next part's about design. So this is the time that you can be creating all your social media content. So think about your drip campaigns, your newsletters, your promotional stuff, your Facebook and Instagram content. Think about your property marketing. Majority of companies have all these different marketing suites. So use those marketing suites. For Exit, it's the Expert Marketing Suite. Use those different marketing suites and use that to publish content. They probably got flyers for you, virtual tours, websites for those individual properties. Use that to do your marketing for your properties right now. Think about buyer and seller tips. Just because we're in a downtime right now with everything going on and we're kind of restricted on what we can do, it doesn't mean that you can't provide information and things of value to consumers. Here's the deal. Consumers right now are sitting at home. They're sitting in a place where they're checking Facebook, checking LinkedIn, checking Instagram, checking email, checking text messages. What if you, to everyone in your CRM database, did, hey, here's a buyer tip. So all your buyers, once every 2 days, you send a buyer tip out to them. Or how about your sellers? Every day you send a new seller tip out to them. Just different things you could be doing. Start your home search. You could advertise, start your home search here. Community information, provide a ton of value there. Local businesses, things going on in the communities, event rescheduled dates, different health tips, health and wellness tips. All of these things are great. You design your content through things like Canva, or there's a new one called Pexels. There's a couple different ones. But what you could do with this is publish it, schedule it out, have it done. You've got time to do it. If you don't want to do your own content, you can use a company called Fiverr, Fiverr.com. They're an outsourcing company. You can pay someone to do your content creation for you, or just find someone that does content creation, work with them and get it all scheduled and good to go. There's a ton of different things you can do as far as the design work on it. And then presentations. Think about this. When was the last time you updated your buyer's presentation and your seller's listing presentation? Majority of you have not. Now, I don't practice that much as an agent anymore, and I will tell you I haven't updated mine in 3.5 years because I just don't utilize it or access it anymore. So go through and actually go and update those things. Work on a new design for buyers' presentations. Work on a new design for your listing presentations. I've seen a lot of individuals that have taken like their listing presentation and they'll put sales data for the previous year in there. Well, if it was sales data from 2018 and we're in 2020, you need to go back and look into 2019 data and put it in there. So definitely go through, rework those, and make sure they're all constant and up to date. I'll tell you this, I had an agent, I talked to her over the weekend, and we were talking about a couple different things between organization and design and content creation. And she's home, her specific place that she's in, they're restricted in the amount of time that they can go in and out of their property. But what she's saying is like, I can do my content now. I can work on my presentations. I can work on my business. I can work in my business. I can really work more on the business and get everything good to go. So over to Kathy. Kathy, you're muted.
Hey guys. All right. So better. Now Frankie talked a little bit about how to get that part going, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about prospecting. And the real thing that we focus on in our business, as well as every other agent out there, and it doesn't matter what brand, is really working with your sphere of influence. So let's think about growing your sphere of influence. And what I mean by that is when you're thinking about growing your sphere of influence, you can do it in various ways. And these are some of the things that I'm going to go over with you guys. And I am sure most of you know how to do it. And if you do not know how to do it, contact, of course, your broker owners or your resource within your company that you're with. I know all of us out there probably have those resources. But one is connect on LinkedIn's account and go in and do connections every day. Connect with maybe 10 or 15 people on LinkedIn, and do the same thing with Facebook. And that way you're continuously building your sphere of influence and adding people in. And I don't know if all of you realize this or not, but there is a way that you actually export every one of those contacts out of LinkedIn and out of Facebook, and you can actually import those into your CRM. I know that with our company, we have something called Promo Shop. With everybody else's company, I'm sure you have something very, very similar. And you want to be able to take all of those individuals that you communicate with socially on all the social sites, and you want to be able to communicate your information. So that's one way to continue to grow and create more sphere of influence contacts. Also, if you live in neighborhoods, go in and add those individuals that are on your HOA list. It's a great resource when you're in a neighborhood, just to make sure that you go in and take that HOA list and insert all of those into your sphere of influence. Because if you live in that neighborhood, you need to be the local real estate expert for your neighborhood. And that will also be an avenue for you to continue to prospect. Also, I know that a lot of people attend church. There's church directories that are out there that usually have the information of all the contacts of the members of the church. You can also input that. So again, continue to insert information in. And also definitely don't forget all of our chambers. Insert all of that information for the Chamber of Commerce contacts, because a couple of things for that is we just want to make sure that we're entering in that information so that we have that also in there. So again, please make sure that you're just continuing to look at different avenues and different ways to grow your sphere of influence. The other one is contacting your sphere of influence. So Frankie, you can flip to the next one. And then from contacting to talk to your current sphere of influence is basically go ahead and contact every family member and remind them of what you do, because you'd be surprised. I mean, just go down through your list of your sphere of influence, anybody that's in your really close sphere, and remind them of what you do, and ask if it would be okay, is as you are posting things on social media about real estate, if it would be okay if you tagged them in it, and if they would share your information. Because again, these are current people that are your family. This is your very close network that can really help you grow your business by continuing to help build your brand out there as well. So it really is all about continuing to broaden the sphere of influence by using your current sphere of influence. You also want to contact anyone in your sphere that you've done business with and supply them with some branded materials. Or tips to remind them that you're still doing business. So again, continuing to work with your current sphere of influence. Phone calls, I know that's on the list for prospect, and I want to make sure that I specify the phone calls. What we mean is picking up the phone is definitely different than sending an email or a text. And the phone calls could be something like this. Hey, you were just on my mind. I just wanted to call and check on you. I know we did some business and I was able, had the honor of selling your house, a year ago. And I'm just kind of touching base with all of my clients and letting you know that I'm still here for you if you need anything with real estate. And then if you think of anything else I could help you with, please let me know. I think all of us out here really want to kind of work together and make sure that we come through this fine. When you pick up the phone and you make a phone call, that conveys emotion, that conveys empathy, it conveys compassion. And so phone calls are extremely important. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that the phone calls aren't I'm not talking about just these generic, real fast phone calls of just trying to do business. I'm talking about from a standpoint of letting them know that you are connecting with them on an emotional level and that you understand that we're all going through something very different and that you're there for them. The next one is emails. Anytime you send an email out, please take a look at your emails that you're sending out and make sure they're branded. What I mean by that is at the bottom of everybody's email, you should not only just have your name, but also whatever company you're with, go ahead and have the website that you're with linked at the bottom of that so people can click on that. Have your picture, have your headshot on there, because branding is so important. And as you're sending emails out, you want to continually let people know not only who you are, but what you do. And if they need to find out any additional information, that it's on your email as well. So also those links really do help, especially if you're linking them back into your company's website and they can browse properties or whatever the case may be. So again, I just wanted to make sure you guys understood from an email standpoint, making sure it's branded. That's a must. Text messages. The next thing on text messages is those really need to be more for short answers during this time. And really, when you think about text messages, it really shouldn't be a big conversation. In the times that we're in now, and pretty much in any time, if it's really about a conversation, it is best always to pick up the phone and call a person, because all of us on here, we've had a text message either sent to us or we sent something over text message and it came across maybe callous or blunt, and we didn't mean it that way. It just comes across very non-emotional. And in these days that we're going through a lot of changes and a lot of things taking place through this COVID-19 coronavirus, the text messages, we really want to keep those very short as far as answering back the yeses or nos. But if it needs an explanation, sometimes it's also good to follow up with a phone call and say, hey, I sent you a yes, but I wanted to let you know why. And then you're able to share that, that information with them with the emotion that's needed to be conveyed. The next thing on there is audio messenger. So you'll see audio messenger pop up. And a lot of times, if you're using audio message, that will actually be better than a text because your voice inflections show and they can hear that. And a lot of times when you can't even see somebody, you can tell how passionate they are or how much they empathize with an individual just based on their voice inflection. So using audio is a great source for that as well. And video messaging. Video messaging is huge, guys. So again, we talked about branding. Always staying branded with your name of your company, whatever that may be, your name badge, staying branded, staying professional, but a video message conveys even more emotion and more passion. And really also in these times, you'd be surprised at how many people out there feel alone. And so a video message really can cheer people up and make them feel so much better. So the next one was Facebook Messenger. We use that a lot of times as a tool to maybe send things back and forth. So I just want people to understand that that can be used as a tool. So if somebody makes a comment on something that you're publishing on Facebook and they're having a question or something specific about a property, use Facebook Messenger so that way it is very direct to them and it becomes more personalized and you can relay that information across to them in a better manner. So the other thing on here, and last but not least, is postcards and letters. So if we're all sitting at home and we got a ton to do, we really do, but let's think about this, guys. Postcards and letters. When was the last time that you got a handwritten letter or a card from anyone? When you open it, you feel special. And so I would challenge all of you this week just to take a little bit of time and just take and write out just a short postcard or a thank you, or I'm thinking of you. Those are things that mean a lot to people, and just going back in your sphere of influence, or even people that, and I always think about the industry as a whole. What about some agents that you've worked with of whatever brand it is that really made the deal go smooth? And send them a card. I'm thinking of you, and I'm hoping that you're doing well. And I really enjoyed working that deal at 123 Robin Court. And I know that we're all struggling right now, but if there's anything I can do to help you, don't hesitate to reach out, because at this point, it's not about a brand. It's about our industry of really helping each other and just kind of locking arms. So again, those letters and postcards are huge. So I just want to make sure that I stress that a ton. So the next piece, Frankie, let's switch to the next slide. This is where it starts getting a little bit fun and kind of creative. So when we're talking about virtual tours, there's certain ways you want to do those. And hopefully, I know that we sent that out with our company within our region to go out there and make sure we got all these videos done in these homes, I guess about a week or two ago, because we kind of saw the writing on the wall. So the reason I have branded and unbranded. Now, of course, you want a branded virtual tour, and it may be a little more difficult now when people are living in the home, maybe not where you're at, but if so, maybe do the vacant houses and do branded videos. Of course, branded, you're gonna publicize that on social media, and when I mean branded, make sure that your badge is on, you've got your branded apparel on, but don't forget to put the banner across the bottom with your name and your telephone number, and maybe even your email address, because it always helps to continually remind individuals what you do. And that's on all of your tours that you're out there doing. But the other reason we wanted everyone to go in and do an unbranded video, and that means that you're not even in the video, you're walking through and you're given dialogue to homes, is that's because we want to help each other, regardless of the company, the brand, or the office that we're with. What if I have a listing and I go through and I video that unbranded, and I'm walking through the home and I'm giving you a really good, clear virtual tour, but yet I pick up the phone and I contact a few agents with some other offices and say, I have a video, it's unbranded, I'm going to send it over to you with a release stating that I have no problem with you advertising. One, you could help that other agent maybe find a buyer, which would impact their income, but on the flip side, you also are helping get a seller their home sold. The other thing you can do is work together. I know that in many states you've got to follow the guidelines, but in our states we just have to have the release saying that it's okay to use that product or that tour to be able to send it out. And those unbranded videos will come in extreme handy, because if I'm representing somebody that's not local and they need to buy a house, I would love to have a bunch of unbranded videos of homes in and around this area that I could send to them, and hopefully I'd be able to sell one of your houses. Think about that. I just wanted to make sure that we kind of walked through the branded versus the unbranded, and also making sure those unbranded videos get on the MLS. And I don't mean just a standard picture and then another picture and another picture. What I mean is an actual tour, a video that goes through. So again, I wanted to share that with you as well. Daily updates is the next thing that comes on the screen. This is something that's very unusual. You don't see a lot of these, but again, it's a huge opportunity for us right now. So, and again, if you don't like video because you don't like the way you look or the way you sound, you just got to get over it, okay? So we're just got to get through this. But there is an avenue, and I don't have the time to go through and specifically line it out for everybody. I know within our brand, we're able to do that, and we have ways that we can teach and train the agents to where the agent's on one side of the screen, and let's say the mortgage person is on the other. And you pick a local mortgage person, and maybe you give a daily update of what's going on in your market with the mortgage industry. And that is very, very important, because at that point, you're educating the public. The other thing you can do, and those split screens, they don't have to be in the same place. So that's what's cool about it. I could be sitting in my office, and the mortgage person could be sitting in their office, and we come on there together, and it's a split screen. The other thing you can do, and it's so vital, is keeping the community updated and putting maybe the chamber president, calling them and saying, hey, would you do a split screen with me? And just kind of go over maybe the things that are changing in the community and the new updates on when maybe concerts or park festivals or any of that is going on. Now, keep this in mind. When you do that, how many times is that going to be shared out? So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that the split screen, you can use it for a lot of different avenues. Some of you may be quarantined, you can't leave, but what if you take a restaurant each day that is doing curbside or takeout, and you do a split screen each day, and you get that restaurant owner on there, and you're sharing that out and letting them tell about their daily specials. two things are happening. One, you're branding yourself as a community expert in their local realtor, but two, you're helping somebody in your community, a small business that may be really struggling. And I guarantee you that small business is going to continually share that out as well. And we may be able to help build their business as well. So again, these are tips that all of us can use to really help us when it comes to these unusual times. So I talked about the split screen, and always do it with a guest. And think about that. Virtual open houses. So if you have a house and you are in an area that you can do a virtual open house, and what I mean by that is you're not having anybody in there. Okay, you can have a lot of fun with this and get creative, guys. It's up to you guys. But what if you did a virtual open house and you advertised it all over social media, and then on the times that you did the open house, for everybody that came in and commented and made a comment, they got their name entered into a drawing. So again, at the end of the open house, based on everybody that made a comment or shared it or whatever your desire is to be, they get in the drawing at the end of the open house, and then you have everybody in the bowl and you do that live and you have a lot of fun with that. And then you can mail them something, you know, like a little gift card or something that they can use. But again, those are some creative ways to have an open house and really get that information out there, so that way you can continue to push that information out. So that's on your virtual open house with a door prize. The next thing is on there is always let me see what he's pulling up. Okay, video tour with potential buyers. So what I mean by that is you're going to have potential buyers that are out there, but they do not feel comfortable going into any homes. There's nothing wrong with you going in and doing a FaceTime video or something like that if you're able to do so in your area. And we are hearing that some areas you cannot do that. And of course, you always want to abide by the guidelines of what you're being told you can and can't do. But on most of our markets, we're able to do those potential buyers FaceTime video tours or whatever, because I don't know about you guys, but when I was actively selling, I had a lot of times military, they bought sight unseen anyway, as long as we gave them a really good tour of the house on video. So again, video can play a key role in helping your buyers attain a property, because inventory is still really low. And if they're not going to be out there looking at homes, maybe you have the opportunity of selling them one through a video tour. Next point, go ahead, Frankie. Always stay branded. And again, I want to make sure that you understand, I don't mean personally. I'm not talking necessarily just with a shirt or your hat or your name badge. What I mean by always staying branded, anything you put out there. And guys, I see some amazing stuff from a lot of you out there from all across all brands, all offices, states, whatever. So think about this. We are really, really big, I know in our brand, on putting motivational pieces out on a daily basis. We have some agents out there that do just a tremendous job. Every single day they pick something and they post it. This is the time that you really want to make sure when you're posting something inspirational, motivational, whatever the case may be, in that bottom corner, brand it. Put your information on the bottom. They need to know that you're out there, you're supporting them, but they also need to know what you're doing. And again, there's no harm in that. There's no harm in continuing to brand yourself. Also check your voicemail, make sure it's branded. So many times we call and get a voicemail and it's not branded. And also when you're recording your voicemail, make sure you're smiling. When you're recording your voicemail, you'll sound super happy and people will want to do business with you. But again, I just can't stress enough that anything you put out there, whether it's on social media, emails, video, you name it, it really needs to be branded. If you're really struggling on how to drop a logo on and you're with another company and you don't have the access to be able to reach out and get someone, reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you. We'll try to help you in any way we can to help you get your logo and your brand on your marketing materials and help you with that. Because again, it's all about helping each other and really building this, continuing the real estate industry as it needs to be in a different way of doing business. Okay, let's see what else I got. Social media. We want to use this. This is free advertisement, whether you use Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. I don't know a lot of the others. There's all kinds. Frankie knows all the others. But again, keep in mind that is a platform and a way that you can get your message across in a manner that costs you $0. zero money. So a lot of you may have the LinkedIn version that's a paid version, but again, you don't have to have all of that. You actually can do a tremendous amount of business in the social media world by keeping a few things in mind. Always be branded, always be positive. So many people right now are talking about the doom and the gloom. You need to be the light, the salt and light to everybody. You need to be out there and really letting them know and in positive injections into everything. You'll see maybe something that's just not that nice on social media. There's nothing wrong with going back in and sharing something that's positive. I would say that people want to surround themselves in this time of what we're going through right now with individuals that look like they got it all together and that they're positive and they're really excited about what they've got going on in their lives. So stay positive, and also always, if you see somebody that looks like they're struggling on social media, reach out to them and let them know that you're there. Maybe even do a messenger phone call through Facebook and touch base with them. Because again, social media is a platform where we can help so many people. So I just wanted to cover those few things, but it is a great outlet for communication. So I'm going to turn that back over, I think, to Frankie, I think. Oh, no, am I done? Yeah, that's it. Frankie, take it away.
Awesome, thank you. Let's talk about Facebook Live real quick. Now's the time to hit the live button. Don't be afraid to live. Hit the live button, my favorite little slogan with that. Because here's the deal. The amount of consumers and people that are sitting at home, as soon as you hit that live button, they're going to automatically click into it. So as soon as you hit that live button, it sends out the notification to all your friends, hey, so-and-so's live. Jump in there with a positive message. Jump in there with some things going on in the community. Jump in there with fun facts, whatever you want to do. Are your kids doing something interesting or funny that you could feature a little bit in there? Use Facebook Live for that. I've been going back and forth in the chats. I don't know if you guys have noticed with a bunch of people. They were talking about split screen, which I'll mention real quick. There is a company and it's a website called be.live. It's BeLive.com. I used to actually host a weekly Facebook Live show through there for real estate agents. And it's one of the best softwares. Highly recommend that one. Select the middle package. There's 3 different packages. You want the one that's in the middle, and you can actually upload all your branding stuff in there. So if you're going to do the split screens that Kathy talked about, you can actually have your logo package uploaded in there, your text. If you have a specific brand logo you need to upload in there, color codes, everything. But use Facebook Live because it's such a powerful tool. Like I said, as soon as you hit that live button, it shoots it out there. The amount of people that have access to Facebook Live and Facebook right now on their mobile device is absolutely insane. So cut through the noise, use Facebook Live. You get a lot better reach with Facebook Live. Start a YouTube channel. A lot of things that agents don't think about is, okay, first off, have you ever Googled something and wanted to learn how to do something? When you do that, have you ever noticed how a YouTube video usually shows up before anything else on Google? And that's because YouTube and Google, they're the same company. So what you want to do is start a YouTube channel. Go ahead and do like, how do you buy real estate in Mobile, Alabama? Use that as your title. When people are searching for different things, real estate, Mobile, Alabama, real estate, Alabama, whose video is going to show up first? So think about starting a YouTube channel. Now's the time to do it. Absolutely. The next one's about starting buyer and seller video series. So you could do 5 buyer tips, 5 seller tips, buyer, seller, different things, who pays for what. I bet you all your business development people over at your title companies would love to do video filming with you right now. So do that. The cool thing with all this video stuff is you can film it and publish it over the next few weeks. You don't have to upload it all to your channel. We do a lot of video filming on the regional level, things that get filmed weeks in advance before it's actually released. We take videos, we splice them up into multiple pieces and segments. You can do that. Just a little tip with that, you can actually just change your shirt, or if you're a lady, you could change necklaces or whatever. The other thing is you only have to do like the front of your hair, not the back, because you're not seeing it because you're just one direct. Super easy with that. Do a tip of the day, whether it's on social media, using that as a graphic or doing it in a video. It could be a fun tip. It could be a real estate tip. It could be whatever you need to. Blog posts. What you should look at is a company called breakthroughbroker.com. First off, this website is 100% free. There is not a dollar collected from you as an agent on this. There's a few things with Breakthrough Broker. First off, they have a section called newsletter content. So if you wanted to start blogging, you can actually go into breakthroughbroker.com, pull all of their newsletter content. It's royalty free. Go into a website called Unsplash, unsplash.com, pull some images from there, and do your blogs from there. Okay, so it just saved you time because A, you didn't have to write the content. It's already royalty free and available on the internet. B, you don't have to take your own photos because I just gave you the stock photo website, and then you just publish it out there. So there's all different things. There's staging tips, home buying tips, different things about fall and yard cleanup and maintenance and all of these different things in there. So that's the first thing with Breakthrough Broker. I'm kind of swaying off of the presentation a little bit, but with Breakthrough Broker also, there's graphics and flyers in there you can use, super easy to customize, tons of different colors. My favorite thing with breakthroughbroker.com is this. Now's the time to think about education, which we're going to get into in the next couple slides. But Breakthrough Broker has tons and tons of recorded content webinars. So if you are looking for things on social media, prospecting, listings, presentations, whatever it is, Breakthrough Broker actually has a content library for real estate agents that you can go in there. So definitely take a look at that one. Like I said, it is 100% free. It is probably one of the easiest websites I have seen out there for agents to use things on. Schedule social media posts for the next few months. I'm a huge proponent of this. Now that you've got a little bit of time on your hands, create your content, schedule it out. So you can use the Facebook business pages has a actual scheduler built into it. So you could just use that one. You could use a company called Hootsuite, Buffer, Later. There's a bunch of different ones. So schedule them out for the next few months. Personally, what I have a schedule of is Saturdays and Sundays for me. I do work on Saturdays and Sundays. Those are my content days. So I film my video, I edit my video, schedule it out for the next week. I create my content, have it pre-scheduled. Just so there's not a lapse in content and you just have things scheduled out so it saves you time. The funny thing is with this, you can actually, if you're an Instagram user or a Facebook user that uses stories, you can actually schedule stories to be posted on your content for you. So I recently, before all of this happened, was on a cruise. If you checked my Instagram, it appeared as if I was physically in the office working. And that's because I pre-scheduled my content and created the idea that I was in the office. So there's all these different things that you can do, pre-film the content, push it out there. Also, a lot of us have these really nice devices. Don't worry about having to get a camera or anything like that. Your phone is great for all this content filming. Also, I bet you your photo gallery on your phone probably has over 3,000 or 4,000 photos in it right now. If you're like me, I have 26,000 photos in there. That's a lot of content that you can go through. I can see Kathy's face. She's a little shocked with that. But that's a lot of content that you can go through and schedule out. So just because you took it 3 years ago and it's a picture of like a lake or something in a property doesn't mean you can't use it now. Just because we can't be out creating content physically out doesn't mean we can't be using old content. So absolutely think about that and use that stuff. And then Troy's going to cover this next one with you.
No.
All right. Got me back, Frankie?
You're all good. Yep.
Okay. Guys, the last point is provide all buyers and sellers with the CDC protocols flyers with your information branded on it. What I mean by that, the CDC protocols is fairly short, and we know what they are. You know, it's the hand washing for 20 seconds and on and on and on. So one thing that would be cool that we want to suggest that be creative, depending on what's going on in your city or state, you could copy and paste the CDC protocols, put your branding, your personal information, your picture, your phone number, your email address, and just indicate what you are doing, that you are a concerned realtor and you are following all the CDC protocols. You could drop that off if you're able to go into a house for listing presentation, showing whatever the case may be. That's a powerful message with your branding being right on there that you're following all the CDC protocols. Perhaps you want to add some additional things on top of the protocol list that makes it unique to you, which kind of brings me to the next slide. Here's some things here that you could look at doing that you could add to it. And there's some tips right there for house showings if you're able to, amidst where we're at right now. just some tips. And so maybe in your own unique way, you communicate that to your, and we'll take the seller, open all doors before showings and sanitize all the knobs after each showing. Clorox wipes are a wonderful thing. I love them. We use them around here in the office, at the exit mobile opportunity vehicle, etc. I find myself with a canister of Clorox wipes everywhere I go right now. Okay. So, perhaps you put that as a bullet point on top, underneath the CDC protocols that you're following. Every doorknob you touch, every light switch you touch, etc., is touched with a Clorox wipe and or a glove, a protected hand. Next point on the seller side is leave cabinet doors and any other space a buyer will want to see open. Maybe you communicate that to the homeowner. Maybe it's something you get in there in advance and do, again, following the protocols of gloves or Clorox wipes. Turn on any needed lights, lamps, and light switches before the showing starts. So why? So nobody has to click them on or off, but the responsible realtor, okay, which is a lot of you on this call. These are some additional points that I think would accentuate the CDC protocols. Keep windows and doors open to let fresh air flow throughout the showing. Not a bad idea, even though the air conditioner's running, whatever, that fresh air flowing through. Just some additional things. Again, it's on a branded flyer that you may be doing. And I would say, if you're not able to do that now, this is something you're going to want to use afterwards, because why? Everybody's going to be hypersensitive to it. So this is going to be business unusual. This is going to be the new norm, if you will. Let's kind of look at the buyer side of it. Refrain from touching any surfaces while viewing the property. You may want to add that into your flyer. It would be powerful because it shows you care. And I know you do, but at the same time, you've got to give comfort to the public at large. Use your own vehicle, driving, to a showing. Most of you do that anyway from a safety standpoint, but drive that point home, in order to keep everybody safe, you're going to take separate vehicles. Wear booties or shoe covers while inside a property. That might be something you want to do. And always bring your own hand sanitizer in case it's not provided by the agent. I tell you, we're having to do some crazy things. And I'll talk to you about these Clorox wipes, but, just a funny, for instance, we went and see my daughter and my dad yesterday. We had to pick up an additional car. We had to go pick up trophies, etc. And so we get out, and I got my Clorox wipe, and you'd be amazed what you can do with them things. I mean, you put your index finger behind, punch your little codes in, touch your gas pump, etc. But my hands were tied up. I had a gas pump in my hand. Guys, you'd be surprised how you can adapt to change, because I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to hit my little octane button to just, my 87, if you will, to be able to, indicate what type of gas I want. So, man, I lifted my knee up real high, I punched my knee. You'd be amazed at what you can do. So, you're talking about embracing change, and I can kick a mean urinal flusher too. I can get my leg up high. I just want to share that with you too. That, I'm thinking about, taking up karate, and, I can get my leg about 4 foot high. I found through all these events that I've had to adapt to change with this coronavirus. And I just throw that in just as a little funny, just to break up the monotony of the seriousness of what's going on. But guys, that's, it's a powerful points right there, together with you creating a flyer with the CDC protocols. I think that's going to kind of be everlasting. Don't you, honey? I mean, I really think it is. Go ahead, Frankie.
I don't know how I can top that, but okay. Stay current and stay positive. So now's the time to look at the National Association of Realtors daily is updating things. They have a whole COVID-19 procedure manual that you can use. Check your local and state associations. I know mine personally, my association locally here is sending everyday emails with things of open house tips, whether it's what they're doing at the association, different things coming down from where I am in Florida Realtors, different things coming down. So definitely check those. Check daily updates with your local mortgage company. Have things go onto your social media with those different local mortgage company things? Are they currently lending? Are interest rates changing? What are they doing? Be sure to keep updated with all of that. Now's the time to think of education also. For you as an agent, stay current, stay up to date. So look at your different designations you could be actually getting right now through the National Association. First thing, your ePro certification, that's just a big technology certification. You can do that. Another one that I think you should look into is the SRES, which is the Senior Residential Real Estate Specialist. Our CEO at Exit talks a lot about it, but there's a thing coming down the line called Silver Tsunami, and that's in the next few years. A lot of the older generation that currently own real estate are going to start phasing out, whether it's downsizing or moving into more affordable housing or moving into a nursing home. So you're going to get a lot of your seniors starting to move. So why not know the tips? And while you have time now, learn about the different things and strategies you can do for that. Another great one that was mentioned on Facebook today that I got it was the short sale and foreclosure resource. Definitely think about getting that designation and learning the short sale process. Because you know what I learned when I was an agent? I literally was on a foreclosure team. Short sales are not short. We had a file that worked 3.5 years. That was about this thick by the time it was done. So definitely think about that. That will train you in all of that. You have CRETs. You have tons and tons of different designations. And you can just search on NAR.com, or I think it's NAR.realtor now. And you can just go through and check all the different designations. They're pretty affordable. There's all different ones that you can start on. A free one that the National Association has just started probably about a year back is the C2EX. That's the Commitment to Excellence. This has a ton of different things for you available there. It has community tasks you can do, local state association tasks. It's a great designation to definitely get you back committed to excellence as a real estate agent. I did hear coming down the pipeline in the next few months or this coming year or next year, that will actually take place where you can actually use your C2X designation and not have to take NAR's Code of Ethics. So that will replace it. That's coming down the line. Absolutely. I got some thumbs up from people. I know my C2X took a little bit of time, so it's definitely worth the look into that. Podcasts, look into your podcasts. Sales, leadership, motivation, communication. Not on here. Marketing and social media. There are a ton of different podcasts you can go in and look at. I absolutely love listening to podcasts because I can put them on in the background, continue to work. If I hear a point that I need to focus on, go back and hit back a couple seconds. I've learned you can actually listen to podcasts. There's a speed option where I listen to them 2 times as fast. So it speeds it up a little bit. You get most of the content super quick. Definitely look into those. Exit Realty, Bob McKinnon has podcasts. Tammy Bunnell has a podcast. There's a John Maxwell podcast. There's a Brian Buffini. There is a ton of different ones. On the social media marketing realm, Marky Lemons has one. Barbara Betts, Chelsea Pites, which I can email. I've got tons of content as far as that we can email out to you guys with this. Just different podcasts that you can absolutely look into. Take your online CE courses. I see that someone finished all their online CE courses last week with it. Now's the time to do it. They're affordable. Go through and do them. Do your CE classes. You have time to invest in it. Get them done and over with. A lot of your licenses have been extended, so check with your state associations. Those, if your license is expiring, they've actually extended those deadlines. But why not just get it done when you have time on your hands to get it done with? Think about Facebook groups. So you can go on to Facebook and just type in real estate agent, and there are thousands upon thousands of Facebook groups. Right now, there's individuals that are in the same footprint that you're sitting in, basically. What do I do? What can I do? What should I be doing? You can literally go through, and there is a ton of different Facebook groups, and you can have communication. A lot of the ideas from this presentation have actually come off of Facebook groups that we've discussed or talked about or tossed ideas out there. It's a great place to network. I absolutely love the Facebook groups because I can go in and you can follow specific threads, you can read things, you can research. It's a great place to research things. Use Zoom, which we're using now, for small group masterminds. You can take people within your agent, within your company, or like we're doing right now. Like we have people all over the state, North America. I have a couple Canadians on here also. Like we have people all over the country right now that are on this Zoom call. Look at how powerful that is. We have a ton of different people on here that you can connect with. So break off into small groups. Do 3 to 5 people, 5 to 10 people. Anything over 10 people usually becomes a lot of like interrupting and talking. So 3 to 5 is best. But use that as a place to communicate and have mastermind ideas and just check in with each individual person. For exit agents and just agents in general, your company usually has a place that holds all of your tools, that holds your toolbox. So we call it the Exit Resource Center. It's got everything we need, the marketing suite for us. It's got our property listing information, all of it's there. So use that, our mobile business cards, all located in there. Go through and watch the training videos that are in that for your company. Go through and familiarize your tools with it. Make sure that you're top of mind and you're checking what updates they've done, what different products. If you're within our region, we've launched a thing called Exit University. So Alabama, Mississippi exit agents, check your university. We are continuing on posting every week videos in there. So just look at these different resources and platforms you have access to. Breakthroughbroker.com is a great resource place that you could be going in and looking for training. So if your company doesn't provide that, look elsewhere. There's plenty of different locations online, plenty of speakers and instructors because we're all grounded. So we can't fly anywhere. We have a ton of canceled events. So just do a Facebook search and search for these different people. John Maxwell just did a live broadcast. It was either yesterday or this morning. He just did a Zoom call basically. And then Brian Buffini's done a couple because we're all grounded. We can't go anywhere. We can't fly anywhere. So we're educating you guys through the computer. So there's all these different things and places that you can go and find the education. Get educated, stay current, be positive. It's the biggest underlying of all that. Back to Troy. Let me unmute you. Hold on.
Thank you, Frankie. Guys, on finances, that may be a concern either now or downstream. Our very own Frankie Joel kind of did this yesterday or over the weekend. Look at canceling subscriptions that you haven't used in a while, didn't know you had. You can find them on your bank statements. Pull them. You'd be surprised. Frankie canceled his and picked up $300 additional on his monthlies, okay, just based upon canceling. I looked at mine either Saturday or Sunday. I found $150. That was either, maybe it's a medical-based expense, maybe it's a subscription, maybe it's due, something like that. It'd be worth checking into, guys. Right now, everybody's got an extension on your taxes, but hey, taxes could be a task that you kind of pencil in to work on, to go ahead and get them behind you during this period of time that we're going through. Go ahead, Frankie. CRM database. As you look at the CRM database that all of you use, whatever brand you're using, if you're inside of Exit Realty brand, you use Promo Shop. Perhaps some of you use different ones on the side. If you're with another company, you've got a CRM database that's called something. It's branded a certain way. Take a look at your past clients in that CRM database in terms of refreshing the content and reaching back out to them. Reaching back out could be with your past clients, could be that call that Kathy talked about earlier, making a phone call. You make a phone call to past clients, or really current or expired clients, anybody listed there. Maybe you want to let them know you have the ability and you're skilled in being able to do a market analysis to let them know what their home is worth in today's current market conditions. That would be something you could use on your call scripts. You could also team up with your mortgage professional and find out, okay, what's going on today. Now I'm going to stress today with mortgage because last Thursday we were at one rate. Last Friday, we were at a different rate. This Sunday, we were at a different rate. Don't be out there saying all-time low because that is not the case with mortgage rates right now. But there's some very good programs coming out for different people. I think those rates will come back down here in the weeks ahead as things get passed and other bills get signed. I would tell you for veterans, there's something on the table that the president talked about yesterday that's going to help them. Keep your ear to the ground with your mortgage professional and find out when that passes for veterans. That'll open up a whole new Pandora's box, if you will, as it relates to you contacting veterans and allowing them the opportunity, maybe for the first time ever, to be able to get into home ownership. But look at your database. Databases are different Sometimes your database is a drip campaign on your CRM. Sometimes it will instruct you to make a phone call. Other times it will instruct you to do a handwritten note. But look at your past, your current, and your expired clients and be inside of a database, and also grow it, grow it, grow it, grow it. Grow your sphere in your database, okay? Let's see, Frankie, that was it, right?
Yep, that's it.
So Frankie, if you can go to the slide, just hang it up there, the second one after the ostrich there, and I just want to mention something. We began talking about how to structure your home office, how to structure your family. Let's see the next one, Frankie. I apologize. How to structure your family, how to structure your routine. We've talked about a lot of content today that you could go back and commit to a routine, whether it be personal or professional, and put some task into your written plan and put some task into your block schedule. A lot of content. Embrace whatever pieces of it that you want. Do what you want to do. Look at Monday being different than Tuesday, Tuesday different than Friday. And use a lot of this information to build out your professional routine, your written plan, your written task, and your block schedule. On your videos for just 1 minute. Team up if you can. Excuse me. Team up with your spouse. If your child is old enough, team up with them. Or if you got another real estate professional, inside or outside your brand, team up. The reason I say that is your videos will innately come off a lot more natural if somebody else is holding that camera or that cell phone. It's an amazing transformation. It's an amazing shift. So just try it. I know a lot of our realtors have their children, and their children love it, video them in a variety of different circumstances. It could be what Kathy was talking about on that virtual open house. I seen an amazing one this weekend out of one of our offices in Canada, and it lasted about 30 minutes, but it was a virtual open house, so it needed to last 30 minutes, and it started on the outside, of the house, and it narrated all the way through everything to do with that house, that dwelling, the construction, the garages, the shrubbery, the actual property that overlooked and went out and sprawled out back. I'll tell you, it was amazing. But use a partner on videos. I think that'll really, really, really help you, no matter if it's your spouse, partner, or your kid, or another realtor. So now you got a lot of content to be able to begin to build out the differences in your life and new routines. Hopefully you found it beneficial. Maybe sometimes it's what we said, and maybe other times it's what was thought-provoked that somebody said on this call. This call was just in the spirit to show you and demonstrate to you, while it's not business as usual, it's business unusual. Tips and tactics that you can do to structure your home office in a certain way, with kids, without kids, and really dig down and do some really different and special things. One thing I'm going to predict, I'm going to tell you right here on record right now, not only will this pass and we will all get through it, but there'll be a lot of pent up demand. Those realtors that are showing up for work in their home office, dressed for success, with a specific plan, with a focus, with a routine, and you engage in it, are going to have more business than you can shake a stick at. Once you get on, once we're coming out of it, we're getting on the back side of it. And it's going to take a little bit. I mean, the predictive analysis right now is it's going to take us till May to start climbing out of it, okay? But look at all of these things that you can do between now and then. If the president, vice president, and the head of FEMA is coming on every day, what 2 or 3 things I learned yesterday is number one, they're coming up with a refined test that only takes about an hour to get the results back. They're testing that in New York starting today. They're also testing a vaccine, which was once used for malaria, to see if it's going to work. They're not going to wait a whole year worth of testing to find out. It's a proven, tried and true drug that already exists for malaria patients, and they are starting the testing of that in New York today. You catch all this. Just one thing I put in my routine is I go to factual sources. So every day when the president comes on, I just listen in. I listen to him. I listen to Vice President Pence, and I listen to the head of FEMA. I listen to those guys because that's real information on the ground that's factual. CDC is factual. Your state government is going to be factual. And obviously your commissions, all your real estate commissions is going to be factual because they're getting their information from where? The state and the federal government. So engage in factual information. Don't spread fear, please. If you need to have conversations, about it, really deal in the facts and don't take people's opinions on Facebook because there's a lot of opinions out there. And, we want to be, as Kathy said, we want to be salt and light to those people that we're in charge of leading. We're in charge of leading our families. We're in charge of leading our clients. If you own a real estate office, you're in charge of leading your agents. If you're agents, you're in charge of leading those clients and your family. So just think about the responsibility we all have dealing with factual information and not spreading fear and doom and gloom. But we do want to comply with everything that everybody's asking us to do, regardless of what your state's asking or requiring, or your city sometimes is asking or requiring. And obviously it's worse in California, Washington State, and New York right now. And that shifts and changes by, literally by the day. So it's unprecedented times. It calls for unprecedented measures. That's why we came on today to share information. Hopefully you found it beneficial. Hey, this is to help the industry. And if there's anything we can do to help anybody on the call, we're happy to do that privately. If you need help defining your plan, or you just want to run that plan past us and, hey, does this sound like I got all the components in my structured in my plan? Absolutely. Maybe if we could, be of service in that way, we'd be glad to as well. Frankie, anything else?
Our mobile business cards are up on the screen, so if you guys want to text them and get any of our contact information, feel free to do that. A recording, Zoom, because they're structuring how many people can actually be on a Zoom call right now and how the servers are overloading because everyone's using Zoom. It's going to take me a while to actually get this recording out of Zoom. So probably around tomorrow, mid-morning, afternoon, Central Time, you guys will actually receive the recording and all the information in here. Like I said, mobile business cards are there. There is a email address, so if you guys have any questions that didn't get answered or you have things, you can go ahead and email webinar@exitrealtymiss.com. That's our webinar email, and we will answer them as they're received and as we get time to do it, because we're still, our region, we're still full function ahead, our team. We all work remote. If you didn't know, the Dooleys, they are in an RV. I work remote from home every day. So we are full function, full steam ahead, but absolutely there is that email address and our mobile business cards. And we just thank you guys for taking time out of your schedules, out of your family life to come in, join us. And thank you so much.
We appreciate y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Everybody stay safe. Love y'all.
Stay safe. Love ya. Bye.